Hello, everybody. Welcome in. I am super excited about this video. I've been holding off for a while. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ariel. If you've never seen me before, I am a travel, also a travel business coach, and I love to offer resources to travel agents who are literally just trying to figure it out, just like I was trying to figure it out when I first got started. So tonight, I want to focus on putting travel quotes together. So you're a brand new travel agent. This is something I hear all the time from new agents coming on my team. Like, I'm ready to book the trip. Like, I already know how to research the trip and find deals, but I just don't know how to present it to my client. So this way is going to be my go-to. Now, there's several ways that you could offer a quote to a client, and you do not have to make it anything elaborate. I think that this is very simple. However, you're able to send quotes directly from the supplier if you'd like to, right? Some travel agents don't do that because they want to shield the supplier they're working with or not share too much information. I personally don't do that. Some will copy and paste parts of the quote into an email and send it that way. Some would use Canva flyers. I've used Canva flyers for clients that were couples. I've used it for group travel. I love using flyers when it's multiple resorts, right? So I could give them an option to choose from, and then let's say I'll do a flyer, and once they choose a resort that they want, I'll do a more detailed quote. Listen, there's no right or wrong way. However you choose to do this, you could do this. Okay. So now the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be using TravelJoy, and I'm going to do what's called a smart proposal. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to research the trip that I want. So I'm not going to go through that process. If you do need help with looking and putting trips together, check out my travel deals video. That's very detailed and shows you how to do that step by step. This is the end result of finding the actual deal. So let's say with this example, I have a client. They are leaving from Antigua, not from Antigua, they're going to Antigua. They're going to Antigua from Atlanta. They want round trip flights on Delta direct, right? They want a 7 day all inclusive vacation. Their budget is, let's say, $8,000, right? So with this example, I'm going to give them two hotel recommendations. I'm going to offer transportation and insurance, and then I'm going to do a money breakdown for them. Now, one of the things a lot of new agents also struggle with is knowing how many resorts to recommend. Now, when I first got started, I used to recommend 3 resorts. So I always had this rule that if their budget was like, let's say $2,000 per person, I would give them something at their budget, something below their budget, something above their budget. But once you become a more seasoned agent, you'll realize that that's just simply doing too much, right? Because once you find the perfect trip, right, if someone gives me a budget and I'm researching a trip for them, once I find the perfect trip, it's within their budget, or maybe sometimes it's even over their budget. If I am all in on this trip, I will present one resort to my client or one cruise option, right? You have to think about it this way. They're using a travel agent because they want your expertise, excuse me. Right? So don't overthink this. They're coming to you because they want your guidance and they trust you. So don't think that you need to give them all these options. Sometimes it's actually a negative to do that because for some people like me, I don't really like a lot of options. Like, give me what I asked for. Like, when you go to the supermarket and it's like 20 different bread options, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I'm getting even discouraged from even wanting bread because which one do I even go with, right? So it's okay. I say two maximum, right? You really want to get your client on a, let's say, a trip that you want to sell them that is the best trip, right? Something that they could fall in love with. Don't give them too many options because then that could deter your client as well. So nowadays, I honestly 1 to 2. And if I find that first one and I'm wowed and I'm in love, my clients would feed off of my excitement alone and want to book that trip. Because when I present it to them, they're going to be like, oh, this is the one. We have to do this, right? And I'll say two because sometimes if I find something within their budget, I'll give it to them. But I always want to show my client what a little, extending the budget a little bit more could do for them, right? And I do that with this trip because what did I say? $8,000. So the first resort is $3,900, and the second one is $4,100, and their budget is $4,000. So both are really close to their budget. But if I have a client with a $4,000 budget, I would give them some of $4,000, and if I see something for $6,000 per person, that's really nice. I would offer that too. And I'm telling you guys, 50% of the time, people want the more elaborate, the more luxurious, right? And bear in mind, sometimes, or most times, in my opinion, clients are never giving you their true budget. They're going to give you the budget that they want, right? But sometimes the budget that they have is a little bit more. I had a client one time go from a $5,000 total budget to $20,000. Okay, they ended up booking a $14,000 vacation. So don't short yourself. Um, just trust in the fact that they come to you and they trust your judgment. All right. So what I did was I researched the trip, got all the information that I needed, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper right here. So, well, it looks blurry, but it's not meant for you guys to see because I'm gonna let you know what's on it. So basically, what's on it is I wrote down the flights, the dates for the flights, the flight number, and I have the hotel name, the room category, the price per hotel, and that's all I have on here, right? And that's all I need. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do a new trip. Let me make myself a client. This is my tester. And I encourage you guys to do this. Create a trip for yourself within TravelJoy and just play around with it. Just send yourself quotes, send yourself a payment plan, invoices, and just see what you assist them when they need it. All right, so we're gonna go to this create button right here within the trip, and we're gonna do what's called a smart proposal. Smart proposal is my favorite way to send quotes to clients because why? It is so quick, it is automated. You could set it up so that you could have the payment plan in it already. So when they approve the proposal, they can literally pay their deposit. Like it's so simple. They have a lot of updates within the last year or two. I haven't done any of the training. Honestly, I've never ever done any TravelJoy training, and I've done multiple TravelJoy videos. So I'm not too up to date with a lot of the stuff that they added. However, what I'm showing you is just a really simple way to get quotes out really fast when you're just starting, so you don't overthink it. It's still pretty for your client. Now, this signature I have right here and the photo that I have in the background that's on all of my clothes, you could change that in the main settings, not within the trip, to my knowledge. So the main settings, you could set it up in your profile and it'll show up in all of your clothes. Okay, so first, let's give this trip a name. So let's give it, it's a couple, so let's say something simple. Antigua Vacay 2026. You could do an intro if you'd like to make it pretty. Now I have two options here. I'm just going to choose the lower price, 3,912. No, that's not the total price. That's the price per person. So let me let me pull my calculator out real quick. So 3,912 times 2, it is 7,824. And then the deposit is $500 per person. So I'm just going to put $1,000. And then I'm going to put the option to accept a supplier payment. Now, if you don't know the difference between supplier payments and direct payments and all that good stuff, please make sure you go watch my video on how payment plans work with TravelJoy, where I walk you through it step by step. I made the video in such a way that it's something that could explain it to clients as well as other travel agents. All right, so we're all good with that. That's all we need. So far, so good. We got a deposit up here. We got a total price, and we're looking good. Now, what we're gonna do is add our options. So the first thing that we're gonna add, oh no, I didn't want options. I want items. First thing we're gonna add is our flight. Now, from the quote, I'm just gonna go ahead and duplicate this flight so I don't have to go and do it twice, right? So the first flight, I'm going to start with searching the airline, and the airline is Delta. This is so awesome. I was so happy when they brought this out. So I already pulled the flight numbers. These are real flight numbers, right? Departure date is June. I'll move this out the way. Departure is June 6th. All right, departure airport is Hartsfield, Atlanta. And look at this, y'all. This is so cool. It pulls the live flight information. This is amazing. Okay. And if you want to add more things, I mean, the seats aren't chosen yet, so I don't really add stuff like that. This is just a proposal. It's just a quote. Okay. But it just gives them that real itinerary feel. Like, I love it, love it, love it. All right. So the returning flight is also on Delta. And the flight number is 1867. The departure date is June 13th of this year. So they're doing a whole week in Antigua. And the departure airport is Antigua, which is ANU. Right. And that just pulled the live data as well. And if you want to add anything, a description, reasons why you chose the flight, any good stuff, I keep this really simple because I like to do what's called a travel agent's notes at the end. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like as well. So let's now get into the fun stuff. Now, I realized the last time I did this that there's actually an option to add options, meaning you could add different sections. So let's say you have a section with one quote that has flight in the one hotel option number one, and then you have option number two, option number three, and you could actually put it in different sections in here. I probably need to learn that, but honestly, I'm probably going to keep doing it my way because my way just seems a lot more easier to me, right? I could put these proposals together literally in like 10 minutes or less. Like it's really not that. Once I have the quote information, it's really quick, really simple. I can do this from my cell phone as well. Okay. All right. So the next thing I'm going to put is lodging. Love, love, love this. Okay. So the first hotel is Kiona Beach Resort, and it just popped up in Antigua. Y'all, look at this, right? Look at this. It pulled all of the information about Kiona, about the resorts, right? And now it pulls the pictures as well. Listen, I'm from a travel agent era when I was doing regular proposals and you had to go search for your own pictures and all that good stuff. So having this makes me really excited. All right. So I like to put the check-in date. I like to put the check-in and check-out date. So check-in is going to be the 6th. Check-out is going to be the 13th. And I also like to put the room type. So the room type for Kiona is the garden cottage with plunge pool. All right. And y'all, that's it. Like you, and let's say because sometimes you have resorts that actually pictures, you could literally just put their website right here and it pulls photos from the website. I know there was an option to add videos as well. I don't know if I'm in the right section, but there was an option one time where I literally add a video from YouTube of the resort, and it was the resort's professional video, not someone's like review. And I had the video in my proposal and it just made it was for sandals. It was so beautiful. All right. You could add PDF documents if you like. I add PDF documents and I'm going to show you guys how I do that with the insurance. Right. So this is perfect. The next thing I'm going to do is add, no, first before I do that, I like to do option number one. All right. Now we're going to add another item. We're going to add another lodging, and the property name is Galley Bay. And here it is, Galley Bay Resort and Spa, right? And just like the other one, it pulled up everything. Yes, yes. And you could restructure these pictures, like if you want to put one as the cover photo, the bigger one at the top, that's fine too. You can move them. All right, so let's just do a check-in and check-out date really quickly, and then we're gonna move right along. Once you get this down pat, it is like clockwork. Like it's so easy. And the room type for this one is front suite. Right, and that is it. And at any point in the proposal, you could just hit preview proposal and look at what you've done so far. But I'm not gonna do that because I already know what it looks like, but I want you guys to be like, wowed at the end. So I'm gonna leave it for the end. All right, so the next thing I want to do, so I have my flights, round trip flights. I have two hotels. Oh, I forgot to put the option number two next to this one. All right, so that's option number two. And then I'm gonna add another item. I'm gonna add transfers. I usually don't put anything for transfers, won't even know it's included. So I usually just put round trip. And that's it. Once they book, they'll get a detailed confirmation of everything. So this is just a little presentation, okay? Now, so flights, two hotel options, we have transportation, and the last thing I like to do is, well, two things. I do two general. So let me just duplicate this. You don't have to duplicate, you can just go back up there and add another one when you're ready for another one. I like to put insurance here. Now, when I do these quotes, I always include like the base insurance. So with this package, I have insurance for travel credit added, and I give the client a client view PDF of all the insurance options and let them choose. Okay. So I'll say something like travel insurance for travel credit is included. Please review the file attached. Let's see. Attach for all insurance options and advise if you would like to add or would like to upgrade. All right, so travel insurance for travel guide is included. Please review the file attached for all insurance options and advise if you'd like to upgrade. Please, please, please reread. I like to reread out loud because I catch those errors. Please just reread and double check your work. Everything that you write is a reflection of you and your company. All right. So, oh, the next thing I have to do is add the actual document. So I should have on here, let me see. Do I have it? Insurance. Yes, here we go. Because I just did the lease trip and I added it to it. So this supplier basically has a client PDF document that breaks down all of the insurance options for the client. And I never choose insurance for the client. I go with the base just to give a quote, but I always present them with every possible option and let them choose, right? So even if my client approves this proposal and they pay their deposit, I'm still going to have a conversation with my client. With this supplier, I know that I can pay the deposit and I have 7 days to upgrade to the cash refund payment insurance. And I can also take off insurance if they don't want it. Right. So I know I have 7 days to make changes. So I wouldn't, it's not a big deal for me to go ahead and book this trip if they pay the deposit and make the edits after. But I always follow up with the client to make sure that they chose the insurance that they want. So anything happens, the liability lies with your choice, right? Of course, I'm always there to answer questions. I'm always going to give my recommendation based on my experience, but ultimately, it is the client's choice. So a lot of new agents always get really tied up. What insurance do you recommend? What do you, no, let them choose, right? This PDF explains everything in plain talk, and usually my clients don't have any questions after, but if they do, you familiarize yourself as well. There's an agent view as well. So I'm already familiar with this company. I've been using them for 7 years, so I really know their insurance policy and what the answers will be, but I always verify. But let the client choose. Give them the options and let them choose which one they want. Is their money, let them choose how to protect it. And if they do opt out of insurance, please make sure you're having them sign a waiver. TravelJoy has a template for a waiver. It's pretty standard. You can edit it if you'd like, and make it more, I guess, details. You can even use ChatGPT to help you with that. I literally have ChatGPT open because I'm going to use it in my travel agent notes up next. All right. So we have the PDF right here. That's in there with all the insurance. Now my last one. So I'm not doing anything fancy like an itinerary or anything like that. You actually could add activities and stuff from TravelJoy. Literally book it in TravelJoy. The activities I've seen that's a new option. Um, you can add it as an item and have your own pictures, whatever it looks like. You could add stuff to this and make it all pretty. For me, I'm good with the basics. Keep it simple. Sometimes clients get a little flustered when it's just too much going on. Keep it simple. Sometimes, for me personally, I like to book the skeleton package. So let me book your flights, your hotel, your transportation, everything else, and your insurance, of course. Everything else we could add later, right? You could add your tours, whatever else you want to add, right? And then some clients want you to be more detailed. You never know. You just do it based on the client that you have. So I love to say, let's. I realized stop talking because I think my computer. Oh, I thought it paused for a second. It was sticking for a second. All right, so let's talk money plus travel advisors notes. I just feel like having travel advisor notes just puts a little extra. I don't know, like it makes it more personalized. Okay, this is why I chose this for you, and it's not just some random package I put together. All right, so at this point, this is the part where I like to open ChatGPT. And my ChatGPT, I'm actually logged into my ChatGPT. It knows me. It knows I have a travel business and it knows how I like things. So I just speak to it like regular. So what I would do with ChatGPT, all right, so I would tell it, I am doing a money breakdown and travel agent notes section. If I could spell today. Oh, and that. On a travel quotes. And I'm going to give it all the information. So, hotel one is Kiona Beach Resort, and that is 31. No, it's three. We're taking some money off. 3912 per person. Oh, not per night. Deposit. Deposit is $500 per person. Final payment is, when is the trip? The trip is June 6th. The final payment on the supply will be 30 days before. So it's April, May, June. So May 6th would be the final payment, but I like to do the final payment even like 2 weeks prior to what it's supposed to be. So I would say May 20th. So that gives me a full 2 weeks. So just in case the client comes back and they're like, we need some time to pay. Well, you have 2 more weeks, right? I never ever, 7 years in this business, I learned never give them the true due date. And it's okay. They're gonna set the due date when they get the official documents. It doesn't matter. Set your payment plan at least 2 weeks prior. For cruises sometimes or trips like to Thailand, Bali, I do it a whole month in advance, right? Because those are those expensive trips. The flight's gonna be costly, right? So I like to give a lot of breathing room with my payment plans. All right, so this is the first hotel. Now, hotel 2 is Galley Bay Resort, and that is grandma. Doesn't matter at this point. This is the reason we're using TravelJoy. We're using ChatGPT anyway. Okay, okay, deposit is the same, and final payment is the same. All right, so this trip is really straightforward. There's not a lot of stuff that I have to give the travel agent notes for. Sometimes I'll usually say things like, why I chose one resort over the other, um, or things like, and I had a lady who wanted to go to Italy and she wanted to fly. She was flying from Antigua and she wanted to fly into Rome but leave out of Florence. And I was trying to let her know that, it was a $400 difference between her doing a round trip out of Rome versus leaving from the other airport. So I give her options, and these are the things I'll explain in my notes. So it kind of just gives them an overview of why I chose the way I chose, and you know. So let me do this. Galley Bay is in 5 islands. I'm just trying to think of something to put in there that to give you all an example. I'm from Antigua, so I'm familiar with where the resorts are. So let me say something like also add that Galley Bay is closer to most of the major attractions, and Kiona is more of a secluded vibes. What else can I add? No, I don't want to add anything about a payment plan because the payment plan is pretty simple. They could pay in any increment that they want, so it's not really a big deal. Nothing that needs to be explained. What else? Okay. Galley Bay also had the ocean front as requested. Y'all see all these typos? What is happening? Fiona only has garden views left. I'll do something as Valley Bay is oceanfront resorts, and Kiona is a 10-minute walk to the beach. That doesn't sound good. Well, I guess if you're in the island, it doesn't matter, right? All right, what else would I put? I think that's enough. There's nothing super challenging or detailed about this trip. But what I would use this section for, I'm gonna just press enter so ChatGPT can do its thing while I'm talking. But what I like to use this section for is to just communicate with my client because most of the clients that I have, I don't really do phone consults or video consults and stuff like that unless it's like a large group. Beyond that, it's my communication is through my form. Strangers book with me online and they just fill out my form, they pay my fee, and I send them a quote back. So sometimes sending a proposal is the first conversation I'm having with them, other than what they put on the form, right? So sometimes I have to, I had to send a quote back to someone. The lady, she booked Belize with me last week, and her budget was $1,200 per person for the resort for 7 days, and she wanted all inclusive. So I had to have a conversation with her about her unrealistic budget and let her know what the price ranges were for Belize and request that she change her budget. So she didn't actually change her budget, but she asked me to send her one of the hotels that I send it back without the all-inclusive option. And the all-inclusive taking off the all-inclusive option was like $2,000 per person less, which is crazy. Because think about it, like you're not gonna spend $4,000 on food for a week in Belize. So that is crazy. But she ended up going with the resort without the all-inclusive. But yeah, sometimes you do have to send those messages out. We're not magicians, right? Sometimes the price is the price, and most of the time it's going to be quality over quantity because some things like Belize, you're not getting Jamaica, Dominican Republic, or Mexico prices with Belize. So please, as a new agent, I did this. Do not rack your nerves trying to find something that's not there, right? And if I'm being honest with you, sometimes these clients they go and search themselves, and it's because they can't find it. They come to a travel agent, okay? So don't rack your nerves. Always want present qualities and what your business offers as the perk. And most of the times people will book with you just because of the services that you offer. All right, so this is what ChatGPT is telling me. So I'm just verifying the numbers and making sure that everything is correct. All right, so here's what I need ChatGPT to do. I need you to remove the bold text. No one told you to do that. And then I need you to remove what's that terminology you use? Remaining balance after. I didn't ask you to do any of that. So I wanted to remove all the bold text. I wanted to remove the balance after deposit option. And then sometimes ChatGPT always has these dashes in between everything. And I always tell it to remove that. So I think it didn't put it because it's so used to me telling it to remove it. So now that I made my corrections, let's see if it's where I want it to be. Let's see if it listens. There we go. Look at us listening. Look at us listening. All right, perfect. Now, this travel agent notes, I want to say one more thing. I like to make sure that it is tailored to the client. So if they mention anything like their birthday or something specifically that they wanted, I want to make sure that it's communicated here that I'm aware, right? And the efforts I put into finding what they want, even if I didn't find it or if I offer an alternative, I want to make sure it's noted that I heard you when you said you want this is your 50th birthday trip and you want it to be the time of your life, whatever it is that just personalizes that experience for the client. All right. So let me wrap this up. Let me wrap this up, y'all. All right. So I'm just gonna paste that right here. All right, nice and simple. All right, so we have all of our sections. We have our flights, we have the two options, we have our round trip transportation, we have our insurance, and we have our little money talk section. Now let's take a look at what it looks like. Preview our proposal. No, this is what, I don't know. I get so excited every time because I just want, I don't know, I think about putting this trip together for myself, and I would love somebody putting this attention to detail in my plans and present it to me all pretty. It would get me so excited for my trip. All right. So, um, another thing that I forgot to add that I think I would have added to the travel agent portion was that the price that is listed is for Kiona Resort, right? So if they opted for Galley Bay and they authorize a deposit, I would update the actual payment plan with the Galley Bay pricing before I authorize their payment. All right, so this is what it looks like to the client. So it says you are previewing the client experience. I love that. All right, so there's no reason for me to be this excited about this, but this stuff makes me so happy. All right, so it has a deposit, it has a total price, it has the actual flight, so with flight numbers and times, everything, and you did not have to manually put this in, right? Scrolling down, we have Kiona Beach, right? We have the room type, we have information about the location, we have the check-in and check-out, right? And they could hit this hyperlink to go directly to the Kiona, I think it's either Google Maps or the website. And remember, you could always change the picture, whichever one you want it to be, the main pictures at the top, right? And they could look and see more. And then same thing with the Galley Bay option number 2. Wouldn't you want to receive this as okay? I'm gonna stop. Round trip airport transportation is included, right? I don't put anything else there. Then they have the insurance plan. I let them know that they need to review the PDF. They could download it, open it up, and choose which one they want, or they could stick with what's already included, the travel credit. And then here's where we talk money, right? We're breaking down the pricing for them and the final payment dates, and then I have my notes. And that is it. And then when you're done, if you have any changes, go back and hit edit. But if not, you could share the proposal and just send it. Or you could do it in a link. So if you hit send, it's going to open up to an email to send. You could save it in a PDF, or you could just copy the link and send it to them. So if you hit send, it opens up an email. I like to put your proposal for Antigua. If I want to add anything else into the body of the email, I can. Right, and remember, all of these emails are templates, and they can be edited in the main template section on your dashboard. And then I'm going to hit send. And what I love, love, love about TravelJoy is as soon as your client views this, it shows, it has not really a timestamp. Well, let me show you guys. I'm going to open it up because I just sent it to myself. It has like a view stamp. So they can't say, did you see my proposal? I can't find it. I never got it. So look at it right here. This is what it looks like, right? You see those 3 dots right there? Those change. So now I'm going to open up the proposal on my phone. So this is all you guys can't see because I have the thing on. I have the background green screen. So I'm just opening it up on my phone right now. All right. Once I do that, it's so pretty. All right. And then on the phone, I could hit approve and authorize, right? And then it takes me directly to the authorization form to make the payment. And here, if I refresh this, I actually get an email saying that it was viewed and it was approved. But now TravelJoy is giving you a stamp that says opened, right? And it actually gives you a timestamp, right? For when it was open. I love it, love it, love it. All right, y'all. So this is actually the end. As per usual, I'm gonna drop my link for TravelJoy down there so you can get your discount on if you don't have a TravelJoy account. I'm gonna drop my links for any of the digital products that I have. If you guys have any questions, please, please, please do not email me, do not inbox me, but comment down below in this video. The reason why I'm saying that is when you comment, someone else could learn from the questions that you're asking. Okay, so I have no issues answering questions. I've even helped people troubleshoot issues with TravelJoy in the comments, but just make sure you do it in the comments so others can learn from what you're asking. And that will be the end. Thank you guys so much for coming. Make sure you like and subscribe.